What Sardinian shepherds can teach us about living to 100. Hello and welcome. Have you ever wondered if the modern world, with all its fancy supplements and complicated exercise machines, has actually missed the point when it comes to a long and healthy life? What if the real secret isn't about adding more, but about getting back to something simpler, something more ancient? Well, a groundbreaking 2024 study from the University of Copenhagen followed 8,000 adults over the age of 65 for a decade. The results were nothing short of astonishing. They found that individuals who adopted just 3 of the core lifestyle habits of traditional Sardinian shepherds had a staggering 60% lower risk of heart disease and lived, on average, 7 years longer than their peers. 7 more years. Think about what you could do with that time. Today we are going to journey to the beautiful, rugged island of Sardinia in Italy, a place where the number of men who live to be 100 years old is one of the highest in the world. We're not just going to admire them, we're going to learn from them. We are going to unpack the 5 fundamental secrets of the Sardinian lifestyle that you can start applying to your own life, no matter where you live. These are not complicated or expensive changes. They are simple, powerful truths that have been proven over generations. Before we begin, tell us in the comments now your age and where you're watching us from. We're reading and replying to every single comment. It is wonderful to see our community grow and connect from all corners of the globe. Now let's begin our countdown. Number 5. Master the shepherd's gait, the power of constant, gentle movement. When we think of exercise, our minds often jump to images of people sweating in a gym, lifting heavy weights, or running on a treadmill. For many of us, that can feel daunting, or even impossible due to joint pain or other health concerns. The shepherds of Sardinia would likely laugh at this modern idea of exercise. They do not work out. Their work and their life is the workout. They spend their days walking, but it's not just any walking. They walk for miles across hilly, uneven terrain. This constant, low-intensity, variable movement is profoundly different from a 30-minute power walk on a flat, paved sidewalk. A recent analysis in the Journal of Gerontology highlighted this exact point. It stated that this type of natural movement engages dozens of small stabilizer muscles in our legs, ankles, and core that are often neglected in typical exercise routines. Strengthening these muscles is one of the most effective ways to improve balance and dramatically reduce the risk of a fall, which we know is a major concern as we age. It keeps the body strong and resilient in a way that repetitive, machine-based exercise simply cannot. Let me tell you about Arthur. Arthur is a 78-year-old retired accountant from Ohio. For years, his life was defined by sitting. He sat at a desk for 40 years, and in retirement he sat in his comfortable armchair reading the newspaper and watching television. His world had become very small. His knees ached, his back was stiff, and a walk to the end of his driveway to get the mail would leave him feeling winded. He felt old, and he believed that this was just the way it was supposed to be. His doctor told him to exercise, but the thought of going to a gym filled him with dread. Then Arthur heard about the Sardinian way. He decided to try a small experiment. He wasn't going to hike any mountains, but he was going to embrace the shepherd's gait. He started by simply walking around his own backyard for 5 minutes, twice a day. He made sure to walk on the grass, not the smooth patio. It was harder than he thought. The soft ground challenged his balance. After a week, he increased it to 10 minutes. Then he started walking around the block, but he would intentionally step up onto the curb and back down. He'd walk on the grass verge instead of the concrete sidewalk for a little while. Slowly but surely, something began to change. His knee pain, which he had assumed was permanent, started to lessen. His core felt stronger and he could stand up from his chair without using his hands. He started going to a local park with a gentle, unpaved trail. The small rocks and tree roots on the path forced his ankles and feet to work in new ways. Within 6 months, Arthur was walking for 45 minutes every day. He had more energy than he'd had in a decade. He had adopted the shepherd's secret, that the key to mobility is not intense, short bursts of effort, but constant, gentle, and varied movement. So how can you apply this? You don't need a flock of sheep or a mountain. Start by looking for opportunities to walk on uneven surfaces. If you go to a park, Choose the grass instead of the paved path. When you walk around your neighborhood, try walking on the lawn for a portion of it. Even small things like standing on one leg for 30 seconds while you brush your teeth can help activate those crucial stabilizer muscles. Think of your body like a car. If you only ever drive it on a perfectly smooth highway, its suspension system never gets a real test. But if you take it on a country road, all the parts have to work together. Your body is the same. Challenge it gently and it will respond by growing stronger and more stable. Number 4. Eat from the centenarian's table, a diet of simplicity and strength. We are constantly bombarded with conflicting information about what to eat. Low-fat, low-carb, keto, paleo, it's enough to make your head spin. The Sardinian diet cuts through all that noise with its beautiful simplicity. It's not about restriction, it's about a focus on a few key, nutrient-dense, locally sourced foods that they have eaten for centuries. Their diet is largely plant-based, featuring whole grains, beans, and vegetables from their gardens. But there are a few superstars we must talk about. First is their bread, called pain carousel, a thin, crisp flatbread made from whole-grain durum wheat. More accessible to us would be a high-quality whole-grain sourdough. The fermentation process in sourdough makes the nutrients in the grain more available and easier to digest. The second is fava beans and chickpeas, which are packed with fiber and protein, keeping them full and their blood sugar stable. But the two most unique items are pecorino cheese and goat's milk. This isn't the mild cheese you find in a plastic wrapper at the supermarket. This is a sharp, aged cheese made from the milk of grass-fed sheep. A study from the Mayo Clinic on dietary fats found that dairy from grass-fed animals contains significantly higher levels of omega-3 fatty acids, which are powerful anti-inflammatories. Think of inflammation as a slow-burning fire inside your body that can damage your joints, your heart, and your brain. These omega-3s are like a fire extinguisher. A small serving of this cheese, perhaps an ounce, which is about the size of 2 dice, gives you a powerful dose of these healthy fats, along with a significant amount of calcium for bone health. Goat's milk is also a staple. It's chemically closer to human milk than cow's milk is, making it easier for many people to digest. It's rich in nutrients and is often consumed as yogurt, providing beneficial bacteria for a healthy gut. And finally, they drink a local red wine called Cannonau in moderation. This specific grape has been found to have 2 to 3 times the level of flavonoids, a type of antioxidant, compared to other wines. These antioxidants protect your blood vessels and keep them flexible and healthy. Moderation is key, usually 1 small glass with a meal. Let's talk about Eleanor, a 72-year-old retired school teacher from Florida. After her husband passed, she lost her motivation to cook. She found herself relying on frozen dinners, canned soups, and white bread sandwiches. She felt sluggish, her digestion was off, and she was gaining weight. She felt trapped in a cycle of low energy and poor food choices. Eleanor decided she needed a change and was inspired by the Sardinian way of eating. She didn't try to change everything overnight. She made small swaps. Instead of white toast for breakfast, she had a bowl of oatmeal with a handful of walnuts. For lunch, instead of a processed ham sandwich, she made a big salad with chickpeas, vegetables from her small garden, and a sprinkle of crumbled feta cheese, which she chose as a substitute for pecorino. She started snacking on a small bowl of plain yogurt instead of cookies. For dinner, she would have a small piece of fish or chicken with a large portion of steamed vegetables and a small serving of barley. The changes were not immediate, but after a month, Eleanor noticed a profound difference. The constant bloating she had experienced was gone. Her afternoon energy slumps disappeared. She felt lighter and clearer-headed. She was enjoying food again because it was real food that nourished her body. She even allowed herself a small glass of red wine with her dinner, which she savored. Eleanor learned that eating for longevity wasn't about a diet of deprivation. It was about a diet of simple, whole, and delicious foods. It was about eating what grows from the earth, and in moderation, what comes from healthy, roaming animals. It's a lesson in respecting our food and in turn respecting our own bodies. Before we continue, if you have been enjoying the video so far, hit that like button so more seniors can see it and subscribe. Your support helps us create more content just like this, and it lets us know that we are on the right track. Thank you so much for that. Number 3, build a family fortress, the life-extending power of connection. In our modern Western society, there is often a great emphasis on independence. As people age, they can become more isolated. Children grow up and move away, spouses pass on, and friends become less mobile. This isolation can be one of the most dangerous threats to our health. A landmark report from Harvard Medical School equated the negative health effects of chronic loneliness to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It increases the risk of dementia, heart disease, and stroke. In Sardinia, the culture is the complete opposite. Family is the absolute center of life. It's not uncommon to see 3 or even 4 generations living under one roof or in the same small village. Elders are not sent away to care facilities, they are revered. They are seen as living treasures, holders of wisdom, family history, and traditional skills. They play an active, essential role in the family, caring for grandchildren, offering advice, and contributing to the household. This constant social interaction, this feeling of being needed and loved, is a powerful elixir of life. It provides a deep sense of security and purpose that protects them from the diseases of despair and loneliness. Let me tell you the story of George. George is an 81-year-old retired engineer living in a suburb of Chicago. When his beloved wife, Mary, passed away 2 years ago, his world shrank. His 2 children lived in different states, and while they called every week, George felt like a burden. He didn't want to complain about his loneliness. He spent his days in a quiet, empty house with only the television for company. The silence was deafening. He felt his mind getting slower and his motivation disappearing. He was fading. One day, his daughter, seeing his decline, set up a video call with him and his 8-year-old grandson, Leo. Leo was struggling with a school project on how bridges are built. George had spent his entire career designing bridges. As he started explaining the concepts to Leo, something inside him lit up. He sketched diagrams on a piece of paper and held them up to the camera. He told stories about projects he had worked on. For the first time in 2 years, George felt like himself again. He wasn't just old George, he was George the engineer, a man with valuable knowledge. This one call started a new tradition. Every Tuesday, George would have a lesson with Leo over video. They talked about bridges, then buildings, then simple electronics. George started preparing for these calls, looking up old notes, feeling his mind whirring back to life. He then took another step. He noticed his next-door neighbor, a young single mother, struggling to fix a broken fence. He hesitantly went over and offered to help. He spent the afternoon showing her how to fix it properly. The feeling of being useful, of sharing his skills, was more potent than any medication. George had started to build his own family fortress. It wasn't about everyone living under his roof. It was about intentionally forging and maintaining connections. It was about understanding that his value didn't end when his career did. Your family might be far away, but technology allows us to bridge those distances in ways we never could before. And your family doesn't have to be limited to blood relatives. It can be your neighbors, your friends from a local club, or people from your place of worship. The key is to fight against isolation actively. Reach out, offer your help, your wisdom, your time. The deep human need to belong and to be of service to others is a foundational pillar of a long and happy life. Do not underestimate its power. Number 2, honor the afternoon pause, the radical act of rest. Our society has a strange relationship with rest. We often see it as a sign of laziness. We are taught to push through, to be productive at all costs, to keep going until the job is done. The Sardinian culture, like many Mediterranean cultures, has a much healthier perspective. They understand that rest is not the opposite of work. It is an essential part of it. The afternoon siesta, or penicella as it is sometimes called, is a respected tradition. After the midday meal, the largest of the day, things slow down. Shops may close and people go home to rest, often taking a short nap. This isn't about sleeping for hours and waking up groggy. It's a short strategic pause that recharges the body and mind. A study published in the JAMA Internal Medicine Journal looked at the health benefits of napping. They found that people who took a regular short nap, about 20 to 30 minutes, in the early afternoon had up to a 37% lower risk of dying from heart disease. Why? Because this brief period of rest helps to lower stress hormones like cortisol. Chronically high cortisol levels can lead to high blood pressure, weight gain, and a weakened immune system. A short nap effectively hits the reset button on your body's stress response. Think of your brain like a smartphone. When you have too many applications open at once, the battery drains quickly, and the phone starts to slow down and lag. A nap is like closing all those open apps and giving the battery a quick charge. When you wake up, the phone runs much more smoothly and efficiently. Your brain is no different. This afternoon pause helps to clear out mental clutter, improve memory, and increase alertness for the rest of the day. Let's talk about Margaret. Margaret is a 75-year-old woman from Pennsylvania who has always been a doer. Even in retirement, she filled her days with a constant flurry of activity, volunteering, gardening, managing the household, and organizing events for her community group. She was proud of her energy, but by 3 o'clock every afternoon she would hit a wall. She would become irritable, forgetful, and clumsy. She'd push through it, fueled by coffee and sheer willpower, but by dinner time, she was completely exhausted and had little patience for her husband. She read about the Sardinian tradition of the afternoon pause and decided reluctantly to give it a try. The first few days she felt guilty just lying down in the middle of the day. Her mind raced with all the things she should be doing. But she persisted. She set an alarm for 25 minutes. She drew the curtains in her bedroom, lay down, and focused on her breathing. She didn't always fall asleep, and that was okay. The goal was simply to rest, to be still. After a week of this practice, the change was remarkable. Margaret found that she no longer hit that afternoon wall. She approached the rest of her day with a renewed sense of calm and clarity. Her husband noticed she was more cheerful and patient in the evenings. She was actually getting more done and enjoying it more because she wasn't operating on fumes. She learned a vital lesson. Taking a short time out to rest wasn't a waste of time. It was an investment that paid huge dividends in her health, her mood, and her relationships. You can incorporate this into your life. Find a comfortable chair or lie down on your bed. Set a timer for 20 to 30 minutes. The key is not to nap for too long, as that can interfere with your nighttime sleep. Even if you don't sleep, just closing your eyes and letting your mind drift can be incredibly restorative. Resisting the urge to be productive for just a few minutes a day is a radical act of self-care, and it is one of the most powerful habits you can adopt for your long-term health. Number 1. Discover your village value, the purpose that pulls you out of bed. We have arrived at the most important secret of all. It is the thread that weaves all the other habits together. In Sardinia, when a person retires from their formal job as a shepherd or a farmer, they do not simply stop contributing. Their role shifts, but it becomes, in many ways, even more important. They become the keepers of the village's wisdom. They are the storytellers, the historians, the mentors. Younger generations actively seek out their advice on everything from agriculture to family matters. They are not seen as elderly, they are seen as elders, a respected and integral part of the social fabric. They have a clear and undeniable purpose. They have what researchers call village value. Having a strong sense of purpose is one of the most accurate predictors of longevity. A famous study from the Stanford Longevity Center followed thousands of older adults and found that those who reported a high sense of purpose were significantly less likely to develop Alzheimer's disease, heart attacks, or strokes, and lived longer than those who felt their life lacked meaning. Purpose is the reason you get out of bed in the morning. It's not about being busy, it's about being needed. It's the feeling that your existence matters to others. This is perhaps the greatest challenge in modern retirement. For many, especially men, our identity is deeply tied to our profession. When that ends, it can leave a profound void. We can feel adrift, like we have lost our value. The Sardinians teach us that our value is not in what we did, but in who we are and the lifetime of experience we hold. Let's return to the stories of our friends. Arthur, the retired accountant, found his new purpose in his daily walks. He started a small walking group in his neighborhood. He now leads a group of 5 other seniors on walks through the park every morning. He is their motivator, their guide. He matters to them. Eleanor, the retired teacher, found her purpose in her garden. It started small, but now she manages a small plot in a community garden, and she shares her fresh vegetables with neighbors who are less mobile. She teaches young children who visit the garden about where their food comes from. She is a nourisher, a teacher. George, the retired engineer, found his purpose in mentoring. His weekly calls with his grandson blossomed. He now volunteers twice a week at a local community center, helping young people with their homework and teaching a basic workshop on home repairs. He is a guide, a problem solver. They all discovered their village value. It wasn't a grand, dramatic revelation. It was found in small acts of service, in sharing what they knew and in connecting with their community. So I ask you, what is your purpose? It doesn't have to be a grand ambition. It can be found in 1,000 small ways. Maybe it's caring for a pet. Maybe it's mastering a new skill, like painting or learning an instrument. Maybe it's meticulously documenting your family history for future generations. Maybe it's simply being the person your loved ones can call for sound, calm advice. Your value did not expire on your last day of work. In fact, the wisdom you hold now is more precious than ever. Find a way to share it. That sense of purpose will do more for your health than any pill ever could. It is the fuel for a long and truly meaningful life. So there you have it, the 5 secrets from the shepherds of Sardinia. Let's quickly recap. Number 5, move your body constantly and gently, preferably on varied terrain. Number 4, eat a simple diet of whole foods, rich in plants, healthy fats, and fiber. Number 3, actively build and maintain your social connections to fight off loneliness. Number 2, honor the need for rest and give yourself a short pause in the afternoon. And most importantly, number 1, discover and nurture your sense of purpose, your unique value to your village. The beautiful truth is that these secrets are interconnected. When you move more, you feel more energetic and want to eat better. When you eat better and feel better, you have more energy to connect with others. And when you are connected and have a purpose, you have a powerful reason to take care of your body and mind every single day. It's a wonderful, virtuous cycle. This is the wisdom of the Sardinians. It's a blueprint for not just a longer life, but a richer, happier, and more meaningful one. Now I have a final question for you. What is one small change you can make this week, inspired by the Sardinian way of life? Will you try taking a walk on the grass, adding more beans to your diet, scheduling a video call with a loved one, or simply taking a 20-minute rest after lunch? Let us know in the comments below. Reading about your plans and commitments is incredibly inspiring to everyone in this community. If you found this helpful, please subscribe to our channel for more videos on living a long, healthy, and happy life.